JCRC has always been important to the Fetner family, but it's taken on a new sense of importance, especially in light of recent events. We've always been proud of our Jewish identity. Nina and I decided after watching things that have happened over the last few months, we need to find something where we feel we can be impactful. And JCRC provided us that vehicle to get more involved, to make sure that our Jewish identity is communicated out there. To do this with my son, I never had the opportunity to work with my father, is just an amazing treat. It's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing honor.
For me, the dual mission of JCRC of both strengthening and bridging communities in the US as well as supporting Israel is really a singular mission. I think that Jews across the US and across the world are really so mischaracterized and misunderstood and misjudged. All the work that JCRC does to bridge those communities just helps strengthen Jewish presence in the US. I think that has a direct relationship to the strength of Israel as well. I'm incredibly lucky to be able to work with my father every day, and I know that's a unique and special privilege. We share a lot in common. To be able to share this award and add another thing to the list of things we share together is really special to me. I think the things my parents really instilled in me and my sisters from a really young age was every relationship needs to have a foundation of trust and honesty. I think that's something that translates across all aspects of life.
Education was always important in my household. The highest form of charity that someone can give is making somebody else self-sufficient and giving them an education. I've spent time teaching at Syracuse, and it has just become a very, very important thing for me to give back a little. I was always working on a job site. That was my father really raising his kids to understand hard work and the efforts. I am, of course, passing that on to Alex. The central values that I received from my parents was that you can always look up and you can always look down, and that we were very fortunate. From there, my parents always felt that charity, tzedakah, was an important role that we had to always take seriously. And from there, we have always tried to impart that on our kids. I ultimately set my mind to do a marathon, and I think it is the metaphor for everything else that I've done, which is setting a goal and achieving it. The achievement I'm most proud of is my family. My wife Nina and my 3 kids are all extremely independent, self-sufficient, and successful in their own right.
My parents set such a great example of their involvement with Syracuse, of how to be an active and engaged member of a community and really give back in impactful ways that go beyond just a financial commitment. Katie and I recently got engaged and we'll be married sometime next year. I would say to make my parents and my future in-laws happy, kids are in the future, we're really excited to be able to pass down both our connection to Judaism and the strong foundations and family life that our parents provided to us.
Growing up, I would work in some of my dad's buildings in the Bronx, and I watched my father make sure that his residents in the Bronx were treated exactly the same way as his residents were in Manhattan. They're entitled to clean, safe housing, period. There was no compromise whatsoever. That has shaped the way I look at affordable housing.
Being in the family business and the experience I had of being able to walk down streets and know that my grandpa built this building, I'm excited for my kids and future grandkids way, way down the road to also have that same experience and have that legacy and mark in New York. Family is so important to me, especially in trying times like these where there's so much instability in the world.
Project Parachute was the brainchild of Jeff Levine, David Pickett, Ron Mullis, and myself, and we went out to the real estate community to raise funds to make sure that the most vulnerable New Yorkers, undocumented New Yorkers, as well as landlords who couldn't pay their mortgages, had some vehicle to basically cover themselves during these hard times. Today, there are people living in their homes who, but for Project Parachute, would have been thrown out onto the street. A lot of what I did in my early life was all focused on running for public office, including going to law school and working with Joe Hines. I was in fact asked if I wanted to stay on with Joe and become a prosecutor. The stars were not aligned. While I never got the opportunity to run for public service, I think that I've done public service in my creating affordable housing. The mark I want to leave on the world is that I really, in my heart and my core, feel that people are entitled to housing, education, and healthcare. I've been able to provide housing for those who otherwise would not be able to get it, and that is something that I am extremely proud of. It's really with the goal of fulfilling my dad's legacy.